There are things in this world that cannot be explained. Vanished cities, objects that defy science, messages written in languages no one understands. People who were there one moment and gone the next. These are not stories from horror novels or sci-fi movies. They are real cases, documented, and still unsolved. Tonight, we step into the shadows of history and uncover the strange truths that the world forgot. Here are 41 real unsolved mysteries that shouldn't exist, but do. Some of them may keep you up at night. Others may never leave your mind again. Mystery number 1, the Taos hum. In the small town of Taos, New Mexico, a strange sound has haunted residents for decades. It's low, constant, almost like a distant diesel engine. But here's the twist, not everyone can hear it. Roughly 2% of the population, and only in certain areas. No recording device has ever captured it. No source has ever been found. Doctors have ruled out tinnitus. Scientists measured radio waves, seismic activity, even air pressure. Nothing explains the hum. For some, it's just an odd nuisance. But for others, it drives them mad, robbing them of sleep, peace, and sanity. Theories range from secret military experiments to underground alien machines. But the truth still vibrates somewhere beneath the silence of Taos. Mystery number 2, the Devil's Footprints. February 1855, Devon, England. Fresh snow blanketed the countryside, and then they appeared, a single line of hoof-like prints stretching over 100 miles, across fields, over rooftops, through walls and even rivers. No human could have made them. No animal known to man moves like that. Villagers were terrified. Churches called it a sign of the devil. Some said they saw a creature with cloven hooves vanishing into the fog. Scientists have tried to explain it as a kangaroo, a mouse, or melting snow. But nothing matches the bizarre trail that appeared, then vanished. To this day, the Devil's Footprints remain one of the most chilling unsolved mysteries in British history. Mystery number 3, the man from Torrid Tokyo International Airport. A man arrives on a business flight, passport in hand, papers in order, but customs agents frown. His passport, issued by a country called Torrid, a country that doesn't exist. The man insists Torrid is real. On the border between France and Spain, he's visited Japan many times. He even points to it on a map, but where he points, there's only Andorra. He's held in a hotel overnight. 2 guards placed outside his door. But by morning, he's gone. No signs of escape, no records, nothing. To this day, no one knows who he was or where he really came from. Some say it was a glitch in reality, a moment where 2 dimensions crossed and someone fell through. Mystery number 4, the Pollock twins. In 1957, 2 young sisters, Joanna and Jacqueline Pollock, tragically died in a car accident in England. Their parents, devastated, prayed for a sign that their daughters were at peace. A year later, they had twin girls, Jennifer and Jillian. As the twins grew, strange things happened. Jennifer had birthmarks identical to Jacqueline's. The girls recognized toys they'd never seen before. They spoke of places they had never visited, places only their deceased sisters had known. Their parents, once skeptics, became convinced. The twins were reincarnations of their lost daughters. As they grew older, the memories faded, but researchers and psychologists were baffled. No scientific explanation could account for the knowledge, the behaviors, or the birthmarks. The case is still cited in studies of reincarnation today. Were Jennifer and Jillian simply coincidences, or proof of life beyond death? The Pollock twins remain one of the most compelling mysteries in modern paranormal research. Mystery number 5, the Green Children of Woolpit. In the 12th century, in the quiet village of Woolpit, England, 2 children appeared out of nowhere, a boy and a girl, with green-tinted skin. They spoke an unknown language, wore strange clothes, and refused to eat normal food. Eventually, they learned to speak English. The girl explained that they came from a place called St. Martin's Land, a world of perpetual twilight. She said they had gotten lost and emerged from a cave. The boy grew sick and died, but the girl grew up and integrated into society. Historians have tried to rationalize the tale, calling it folklore or a case of malnourishment, but details in the original accounts suggest something stranger. Could they have come from a hidden world, a parallel dimension? To this day, no one has explained who the children were or where they truly came from. Mystery number 6, the Sodder children disappearance. On Christmas Eve 1945, the Sodder family home in Fayetteville, West Virginia, caught fire. George and Jenny Sodder and 4 of their children escaped, but 5 children, Maurice, Martha, Louis, Jenny, and Betty, were never found. The fire department arrived late. No bones or remains were found in the ashes. Strangely, a woman claimed to have seen the children alive, peering from a passing car. Others reported sightings for years. The Sodders believed the fire was set intentionally and that their children had been kidnapped. They put up a billboard with their faces, seeking answers for decades, but no definitive evidence ever surfaced. The case remains open. Were the children lost in the fire or stolen in the chaos? No one knows, and the truth may have burned with the house or disappeared into the night. Mystery number 7, the phantom time hypothesis. In the 1990s, German historian Herbert Illig proposed a radical theory that nearly 300 years of history, from 614 to 911 AD, never actually happened. According to Illig, this period was fabricated during the reign of the Holy Roman Emperor Otto III and Pope Sylvester II. He claimed that archaeological evidence from the early Middle Ages is mysteriously lacking, and that the Gregorian calendar doesn't align with celestial events unless you remove those 297 phantom years. If true, events like the reign of Charlemagne may have been fictional. Most historians reject the theory, citing overwhelming evidence against it. Still, the lack of records and architectural development during that time remains strange. Could a portion of our history be an elaborate hoax, a clerical error, or something we simply misunderstood? The phantom time hypothesis challenges the very timeline of civilization. Mystery number 8, the Belmez faces. In 1971, in a modest home in Belmez de la Moraleda, Spain, strange faces began appearing on the kitchen floor. They weren't drawn or painted. They emerged from within the concrete itself. The homeowner tried scrubbing them away. She even replaced the floor, but the faces returned, changing expressions, positions, and even multiplying over time. Witnesses watched them form in real time. Parapsychologists and scientists investigated. Some believed it was a psychic phenomenon known as thoughtography, the projection of mental images onto physical surfaces. Others accused the family of hoaxing. Tests were inconclusive, but the faces continued to appear for decades. Were they messages from the dead, a psychic imprint, or just an unexplained trick of chemistry and psychology? The Belmez faces remain one of the most bizarre and persistent paranormal mysteries ever recorded. Mystery number 9, the Voynich manuscript discovered in 1912 by a rare book dealer. The Voynich manuscript is a 240-page codex written in an entirely unknown language. Its pages are filled with bizarre illustrations, plants that don't exist, astronomical diagrams, naked women in strange pools, and cryptic symbols. Linguists, cryptographers, and even code breakers from both world wars have tried to crack its language. None succeeded. The manuscript shows no signs of being a hoax. Its parchment is real. The ink is consistent with the 15th century, yet no one knows who wrote it, why it was made, or what its contents mean. Some believe it's a coded herbal text. Others think it's an alien language. One theory claims it's the diary of a long-lost civilization. But over a century later, it remains silent, unreadable, unexplainable. Mystery number 10, the WOW signal. August 15th, 1977, a radio telescope in Ohio captures a 72-second signal from deep space. One so strong and unusual, an astronomer writes "wow" in red pen beside it. The frequency came from the constellation Sagittarius, an area with no known stars or planets close by. It matched what researchers hoped to find from intelligent extraterrestrial life, but it never repeated. No other signal like it has been detected since. Scientists ruled out satellites, Earth-based signals, or natural sources. The mystery grew. Was it a transmission from an alien civilization, a cosmic accident, or something else entirely? The WOW signal still stands as one of the strongest potential contacts with something out there. Mystery number 11, the Dyatlov Pass Incident, 1959. The Ural Mountains, Russia. 9 experienced hikers are found dead under horrifying and unexplained circumstances. Their tent was slashed from the inside. Some fled into the freezing snow barefoot. One had a fractured skull, another had a missing tongue. Their clothes contained trace amounts of radiation. Soviet investigators blamed a compelling natural force without explaining what that meant. Theories include avalanche, military testing, infrasound panic, and even aliens. In 2020, Russian officials claimed it was a slab avalanche, but skeptics point to the injuries, some too severe for such a theory. Whatever happened on Dyatlov Pass remains one of the most disturbing and puzzling mysteries in Russian history. Mystery number 12. The Black Knight satellite, high above Earth's orbit, something may be circling us, something ancient. For over 60 years, astronomers and radio operators have reported strange signals from an unidentified object in polar orbit, something no one launched. Photographs from NASA's early missions show a dark, irregularly shaped object, dubbed the Black Knight. Theories suggest it's a 13,000-year-old alien probe left behind to monitor Earth. Others say it's space junk or a thermal blanket lost during a mission, but the sightings, radio echoes, and photographic evidence tell a more chilling story. Is it watching us? Did it always know we were here? The Black Knight satellite may be the oldest unsolved mystery in orbit. Mystery number 13. The disappearance of Flight 19 on December 5, 1945. 5 U.S. Navy bombers, known as Flight 19, disappeared during a training mission over the Bermuda Triangle. Their last radio transmissions are strange. The ocean looks strange. We can't tell where we are. Everything is wrong. No wreckage was ever found. Even more eerie, a rescue plane sent to search for them vanished too. Altogether, 27 men disappeared without a trace. The Bermuda Triangle has long been associated with vanishings, ships, planes, and people. But Flight 19 remains the most infamous. Was it a storm, a magnetic anomaly, or something far more terrifying? Mystery number 14, The Toxic Lady, Gloria Ramirez, 1994. Gloria Ramirez arrives at a California hospital, confused, disoriented, and in pain. Nurses draw blood and collapse. Doctors fall ill. A strange ammonia-like odor fills the ER. 5 staff members are hospitalized. The ER is evacuated. Gloria dies that night. Autopsy reports find nothing toxic in her system, yet multiple witnesses became violently ill simply by being near her. Some speculate a reaction between medication and a rare chemical she used at home. Others believe it was mass hysteria, but experts never reached a solid conclusion. What turned Gloria Ramirez into a walking biohazard? To this day, she is remembered as the Toxic Lady. Mystery number 15, The Vanishing of Frederick Valentich. October 21st, 1978, a 20-year-old pilot named Frederick Valentich takes off in a small Cessna plane over the Bass Strait, Australia. He radios air traffic control, reporting a strange aircraft hovering above him. He describes it as shiny, metallic, and not like anything he's seen. Then, silence. His last words? It's not an aircraft. Neither he nor his plane were ever found. There were no crash signals, no debris, no signs of malfunction. The weather was calm. The flight path was routine. UFO believers cite this as a possible alien abduction. Skeptics say it could have been a hoax or disorientation. Mystery number 16, The Max Headroom Broadcast, Intrusion. November 22nd, 1987. Chicago. During a nightly news broadcast, viewers' screens suddenly cut to a man wearing a rubber Max Headroom mask, dancing, ranting, and making bizarre noises. No one knew who it was. No one knew how they hijacked the signal. Minutes later, during a Doctor Who rerun, the same figure appeared again. this time more disturbing. He mumbled about Coca-Cola, waved a marital aid, and was spanked by a woman with a fly swatter. Then, gone. The FBI and FCC investigated, but no one was caught. To this day, the Max Headroom hacker has never been identified. Mystery number 17, the Circleville Letters. In 1976, residents of Circleville, Ohio, began receiving anonymous, threatening letters, exposing secret affairs and criminal accusations. The letters were handwritten and eerily accurate. One woman, Mary Gillespie, was targeted relentlessly. Her husband later died in a suspicious car crash after receiving a letter warning him to stop investigating. Eventually, a man named Paul Freshour was arrested. But even while he was in prison, the letters continued. Handwriting experts, lie detector tests, and forensic examinations failed to solve the case. To this day, no one knows who wrote the Circleville letters or why. The town lived in fear, stalked by a ghost with a pen. Mystery number 18, the toxic rain of Oakville. In 1994, residents of Oakville, Washington, reported a bizarre weather phenomenon, jelly-like blobs falling from the sky instead of rain. People and animals who came in contact with the substance became violently ill, experiencing dizziness, nausea, and respiratory issues. Samples were sent to labs. Shockingly, they were found to contain human white blood cells, and cells that seemed to be alive. The military had been conducting aerial operations nearby, fueling speculation about biological tests gone wrong, but no explanation was given. Was it a secret experiment, a natural mutation, or something extraterrestrial? The Oakville blobs remain a mystery, one that rained terror from the sky. Mystery number 19, the Overtown Bridge near Dumbarton, Scotland. There's a picturesque stone bridge known as Overtown Bridge, but since the 1950s, dogs have inexplicably jumped off it, often to their deaths. Dozens of canines have leapt from the same spot on clear days without provocation. Some dogs survive, only to climb back up and jump again. Locals call it the dog suicide bridge. Experts have blamed everything from scents of animals below to electromagnetic anomalies, but no solid explanation exists. Why only dogs? Why only that one section? Is it a coincidence or something darker calling them from below? Mystery number 20, the Great Amherst Poltergeist. In the 1870s, Esther Cox of Amherst, Nova Scotia, became the center of violent and terrifying paranormal activity. Furniture moved on its own. Loud knocks echoed through the house. Messages were scratched into walls. Esther herself was thrown from her bed and saw spontaneous fires ignite. Witnesses included friends, neighbors, even clergymen. Doctors called it hysteria, but one claimed to have seen the events firsthand. Esther was even investigated by police. She moved homes, but the activity followed. Eventually it stopped, without explanation. Some believe Esther was psychically channeling energy. Others claim demonic possession. The Amherst poltergeist remains one of the best documented paranormal cases of the 19th century. Mystery number 21, the disappearance of Lars Mittink. In 2014, 28-year-old German man Lars Mittink was vacationing in Bulgaria. After a minor ear injury, he stayed behind while friends flew home. Then, strange behavior began. Security footage shows Lars pacing, paranoid, claiming he was being followed. He texted his mother, "I don't feel safe. What should I do?" At the airport, he suddenly sprinted out, abandoning his luggage, and vanished into the forest. He was never seen again. Police found no evidence of foul play. Some theorize a mental breakdown. Others suggest he was targeted. The footage is chilling. A man fleeing from something no one else could see. Mystery number 22, the cursed Bassano vase. In the 15th century, a silver vase was crafted for an Italian bride. She died that same night, clutching the vase in her hands. Over the centuries, the vase resurfaced and brought death to each new owner. A pharmacist, a doctor, an archaeologist. All died within weeks of acquiring it. Eventually, it came with a note. Beware, this vase brings death. When police tried to donate it to a museum, no institution would accept it. It was supposedly sealed in a lead box and buried. Location unknown. Some say it's still out there, waiting to be found. Mystery number 23. The Ghost Blimp, August 16, 1942. A U.S. Navy blimp took off from San Francisco with 2 experienced crewmen aboard. Hours later, it drifted back, pilotless. It crashed softly onto a street. Engines were functional. Fuel was full. The parachutes were still inside. So were the radio and life vests. But the crew? Gone. There were no signs of struggle or mechanical failure. They simply vanished, mid-air. Was it an accident, a hijacking, or something stranger? The ghost blimp remains a floating question mark in aviation history. Mystery number 24. The Gurning Man of Glasgow. In the late 1970s, multiple women in Glasgow reported a terrifying figure. A man in tight black clothing, writhing and gurning, twisting his face grotesquely. He appeared at night, often near parks or under bridges. Sometimes he chased victims. Other times he simply watched. Police never caught anyone. Sketches matched, but no suspect was ever identified. Was he mentally disturbed, a supernatural entity, or something more symbolic, a living fear? The Gurning Man vanished as suddenly as he came, leaving only nightmares behind. Mystery number 25. The ghost ship SS Orang Medan. A chilling message was received by ships near the Strait of Malacca in the 1940s. All officers, including captain, are dead, lying in chart room and bridge, possibly whole crew dead. Then, I die. A rescue party found the SS Orang Medan floating, intact, and full of corpses. Faces frozen in terror, hands reaching for unseen horrors. No injuries, no damage to the ship. Before an investigation could begin, the ship exploded and sank. Some claim it carried deadly chemicals. Others say it was a cover-up. Many believe it never existed. But the transmissions were real, and whatever happened aboard the Orang Medan was never explained. Mystery number 26. The Hexham Heads. In 1971, 2 stone heads were unearthed in a backyard in Hexham, England. Shortly after, the family began experiencing strange phenomena. Objects moving, cold spots, and a terrifying half-man, half-wolf creature seen stalking the home. The heads were later linked to pagan rituals or Celtic artifacts. When moved to museums, the hauntings reportedly followed. Experts still debate their origin. Were they ancient totems, cursed relics, or just oddly shaped stones? Whatever they were, they didn't belong in that backyard. Mystery number 27. The Van Meter Visitor. In 1903, the town of Van Meter, Iowa, was terrorized by a flying creature with bat-like wings and a glowing horn. It emitted a foul stench and was bulletproof, with townspeople firing at it nightly. One night, it retreated into an abandoned mine, never to be seen again. Newspapers documented the events. Witnesses included doctors, bankers, and teachers, not prone to fantasy. Skeptics say it was hysteria. Believers say it was real and hiding still. The Van Meter Visitor remains one of America's strangest cryptid encounters. Mystery number 28. The Death of Elisa Lam. In 2013, 21-year-old Elisa Lam was found dead in a water tank atop the Cecil Hotel in Los Angeles. Security footage showed her acting strangely in an elevator, pressing buttons, hiding, gesturing as if someone was there. She was reported missing. Weeks later, guests complained of odd-tasting water. That's when her body was discovered. There was no evidence of trauma. The tank was difficult to access. No one knows how she got there. The case sparked theories of foul play, mental illness, and the supernatural. To this day, the footage remains one of the internet's creepiest mysteries. Mystery number 29. The Missing Lighthouse Keepers of Ellen Moore. In 1900, a supply ship arrived at the remote Flannan Isles to find the lighthouse deserted. 3 keepers were missing. The clocks had stopped. Meals were untouched. The logbook mentioned strange storms, but the weather had been calm. One entry read, "Sea calmer than normal. God is over all." No bodies were found. No signs of escape. The official theory blamed a rogue wave, but the logs hinted at fear or madness. What truly happened on Island Moor remains one of the sea's most enduring mysteries. Mystery number 30, the mysterious death of Tomam Shud, 1948. A man is found dead on Somerton Beach in Australia. No ID, no wounds, every label removed from his clothing. In his pocket, a scrap of paper that read, Tomam Shud, Persian for "it is ended." Later, a hidden copy of the Rubaiyat was found in a car nearby, with a code inside, never cracked. The man's identity has never been confirmed. Some say he was a spy. Others think it was a suicide, wrapped in layers of secrecy. Who was he? Why did he die? And what did his final message mean? Mystery number 31, the ghost rockets of Scandinavia. In 1946, strange cigar-shaped objects were seen flying over Sweden, Finland, and Norway. They were fast, silent, and often left trails of smoke or fire, but made no sound. Hundreds of reports flooded in. Military radars picked them up. Some crashed into lakes, yet no debris was ever found. At first, officials blamed Soviet missiles, but the behavior didn't match any known technology. The sightings continued into the 1950s, and then stopped just as mysteriously. Some say they were early UFOs. Others think they were secret experiments. But with no wreckage, no origin, and no clear explanation, the ghost rockets remain one of Scandinavia's most enduring aerial enigmas. Mystery number 32, the disappearance of the MV Joyita. In 1955, the MV Joyita, a merchant vessel, vanished in the South Pacific with 25 people on board. 5 weeks later, the ship was found, adrift and abandoned. Cargo was missing. Blood-stained bandages were aboard. The lifeboats were gone, yet the ship was still afloat, despite being slightly damaged. Why would an experienced crew abandon a floating ship in calm weather? No bodies were ever recovered. No distress calls were made. To this day, no one knows what happened. Piracy, mutiny, something worse? The Joyita remains one of the ocean's darkest riddles. Mystery number 33, the believer of resurrection, Mary, Chicago, 1930s. A young man picks up a girl hitchhiking near Resurrection Cemetery. She's pale, quiet, wearing a white dress. He drives her home, but when they reach the gates of the cemetery, she vanishes from the seat beside him. Over the decades, dozens have claimed to encounter Resurrection Mary. Some have danced with her at ballrooms. Others gave her a ride, only for her to disappear in the same spot. Was she a ghost, a reliving memory, or something else entirely? Even in recent years, sightings persist, and Resurrection Mary walks still. Mystery number 34. The hum of Windsor residents of Windsor, Ontario, have been tormented for over a decade by a persistent, low-frequency hum, heard day and night. It vibrates homes, disrupts sleep, and causes headaches. But not everyone hears it. Scientists tried triangulating the sound, suspecting it came from nearby Zug Island, an industrial site across the river. But no official source was ever confirmed. The Canadian government investigated. So did the US. Still, no answer. Wherever it's coming from, it hasn't stopped. The Windsor hum continues to shake the silence, without reason or end. Mystery number 35, the man in the iron mask. In 17th century France, a prisoner was held in various jails for over 3 decades. His identity was a closely guarded secret. His face was hidden, not with iron, but with black velvet. No one knew who he was, not even the guards. Voltaire claimed he was the brother of King Louis XIV. Others believed he was a political decoy, a noble, or a man who knew too much. The French government destroyed most records related to his imprisonment. He died, nameless. Who was the man in the iron mask? No one truly knows, and the secret may have died with him. Mystery number 36. The vanishing of the USS Cyclops, 1918. The USS Cyclops, a massive Navy cargo ship, disappears in the Bermuda Triangle with 309 people aboard. There were no distress signals. The weather was calm. The ship simply vanished without a trace. No wreckage was found. No survivors. It remains the largest non-combat loss of life in U.S. naval history. Theories range from enemy submarines to storms to the unknown. Some blame the Bermuda Triangle's magnetic anomalies, but over a century later, the Cyclops has never been found. Mystery number 37. The Dancing Plague of 1518. It began with one woman dancing in the streets of Strasbourg. Then dozens joined, then hundreds. They danced uncontrollably, day and night, for weeks. Some collapsed from exhaustion, others died. Authorities tried music, prayers, and even designated dance halls, but the plague wouldn't stop. No cause was ever found. Mass hysteria, moldy bread, possession, whatever it was, it left a grim rhythm in history. Mystery number 38. The Hinterkaifeck Murders, 1922, Germany. On a remote farmstead, 6 members of the Gruber family were brutally murdered. One by one, lured into the barn. The killer stayed afterward, feeding animals, eating meals, even sleeping in the home. No valuables were stolen, no suspects identified. Strangely, the family had reported hearing footsteps in the attic days before. A newspaper was found that no one recognized, and the maid had just quit, claiming the house was haunted. The case remains unsolved, and the farmhouse was demolished, haunted by silence. Mystery number 39. The Phaistos disc, discovered in 1908 on the island of Crete. The Phaistos disc is a fired clay artifact with symbols stamped in a spiral, using unknown pictograms that appear nowhere else in history. Over a century later, no one has translated it. Its language, purpose, and origin remain completely unknown. Some believe it was a game. Others think it's a prayer, a calendar, or a hoax. Whatever it is, it's unique. Nothing like it has ever been found again. The Phaistos disc is a riddle, pressed in clay. Mystery number 40. The Tunguska event, 1908. A massive explosion flattens 800 square miles of forest in Siberia. The largest impact event in recorded history. But there's no crater, no meteorite fragments, just scorched earth and bent trees. Some say it was a comet that exploded midair. Others think it was a black hole, antimatter, or something not from Earth at all. Survivors described a fireball. A shock wave circled the globe, yet no solid explanation ever emerged. What exploded over Tunguska? The blast remains one of the planet's most powerful and most mysterious. Mystery number 41. The Ghost of Room 873, Banff Springs Hotel. At the Banff Springs Hotel in Alberta, Canada, there is no room 873. Guests searching for it find only a solid wall where the door should be. Legend says a family was murdered there, and their spirits never left. Guests once reported screams, bloody handprints, and flickering lights. Eventually, the hotel sealed the room off completely. But those on the 8th floor still report strange sounds. A child's laughter, cold spots, a figure standing where the door once was. The hotel says it's just a myth, but if you ever stay there, listen closely. Room 873 may be gone, but something still lingers behind that wall. You've just heard 41 of the most chilling, bizarre, and real unsolved mysteries in human history. From lost cities and ghost ships to vanishing people and impossible sounds, the world is filled with questions no one can answer. Some may eventually be solved. Others may never be. They linger in old books, sealed documents, fading headlines, and in whispers passed down through generations. Which mystery haunted you the most? Let us know in the comments. And if you crave more secrets from the shadows, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell. Because next time, we go deeper into the darkness.